one of the things that really concerns me is when I hear people say, oh, the demographics is what's happening. President Obama is black and black people voted for him. And that's what won the election. This has become conventional wisdom across the media. I'm hearing it. We just heard Tom Hayden say words to that effect. I don't think he meant it quite the way that the Republicans mean it, but the Republicans mean it in a very dismissive way. Like, oh yeah, those are basically like it's a racist vote or something. And I believe that this was a values election, that it was a values vote. And I don't think it had anything to do with the color of President Obama's skin, or very little to do with it. Certainly, there were probably more whites who voted against him because of the color of his skin than blacks who voted for him, because Bill Clinton overwhelmingly took the African-American vote too, and nobody would ever accuse Bill Clinton of looking like he's African-American. In fact, he's about as kind of, pasty white bread as you can get in terms of white boy looks. Not to put him down. I mean, he's a handsome guy, but that's a white guy. So the Center for American Progress, the Media Matters, put together a bunch of polling that was done. Exit polls, all within the last few months of just, good, solid polls of the American people, not, liberal polling agencies, not Fox News polling agencies, but just good, solid polls. And this is what they found. And this is why I say this, yes, it's changing demographics, but it's these demographics that are changing as a consequence of not race, but community. On jobs, the American people overwhelmingly rank jobs and unemployment really, really important. 60% of likely voters said jobs are number one. The deficit, only 8% of Americans give a rat's patootie about the deficit. 8%. It's nothing. Taxes, 2/3 of Americans think we should raise taxes on the richest 2%. Defense spending, 75% of Americans think we should cut the Pentagon budget. Social Security, over 80% of Americans say no cuts to Social Security. Medicare, over 75% of Americans say no cuts to Medicare. Medicaid, over 60% of Americans oppose the congressional Republicans' plan to restructure and cut Medicaid. Education, 75% of Americans oppose cutting education funding, as Paul Ryan has proposed, and 60% oppose cutting funding for college student loans. 55% of people who've heard about the stimulus think it was the right thing to do for the country. 90% of Americans think we're not doing enough for the working poor, for poverty. 80% of voters agree that the United States, our government, should do more to promote renewable energy. 60% of people are concerned about climate change, and 90% of Americans are furious about the money in the elections.